Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Beetlejuice, the animated series. This ran from 1989 to 1991, and it lasted for 4 seasons on 2 completely different networks, ABC and Fox Kids. It had a total of like 94 episodes, but 109 segments. This right here was like my childhood, man. This was one of my all-time favorite cartoons as a child growing up. This was the good old, oh my God, the good old days, man. When I was so happy to wake up early on a Saturday morning and, eat my cereal and everything, still be in my PJs and just turning on the TV, the big boob tube and everything. And back in those days, like I said before, I didn't have cable no more. This was around the time I stopped having cable. And so ABC and Fox Kids was where you had to go with that, and whatever channel that Disney show syndicated stuff would come on. That's what you had to survive, that and PBS and everything. And despite this coming on 2 different networks, it was actually a syndicated cartoon. And, I actually forgot all about this cartoon until about, what was it, like last year, maybe 2 years ago? I watched the first movie that came out. And what year did that come out in? The original movie. I want to say 1986 or something like that, or 1984. I can't remember which year it was. But the live action Beetlejuice movie. So this is what this movie is based off of. And I forgot all about this cartoon until I rewatched this movie. Because when I bought it on DVD, they had a couple of episodes of it on there. Now, when I say I forgot all about it, I didn't forget, because I still remembered it. But I forgot what exactly it was about, and how exactly it looked and stuff like that. And so I went online and found they had it on DVD, and I bought it. And I bought the older box set. Originally, I was gonna buy the volumes, or I think something was the best episodes, where it had a couple of episodes in it. And so I didn't want to do that. So I bought the original box set, which has all 4 seasons in it. And then they came out with the re-release. And I think the re-release is just, nothing's new with it. I don't even know if it's enhanced animation or anything. I have no idea. But it costs a heck of a lot more than the older box set. So I'm like, screw that. I'm gonna get the older box set. And so I've been rewatching it, and man, there are so many freaking episodes. It's insane how many episodes there are. Because what is it? Like I said before, on ABC with the first 3 seasons. And so let's see. The first season was 13 episodes. Season 2 and 8 only had, no, why did I say 2 and 8? 2 and 3. Seasons 2 and 3 only had 8 episodes. But season 4 had a whopping 65 episodes. By far the longest and biggest and stuff. And it's going to take a while to watch that. After rewatching it, it's I think I haven't even started season 3. I think I have started season 3. But season 4, that's going to take a while. Because when you have segments, it makes the show feel a heck of a lot longer. And 65 episodes is a lot, but that's how television used to be back then, man. You would have anywhere between 8 to 13 to 20 to 40 to 60 episodes, depending on what show it was and stuff. Nowadays, you're now lucky to only get 8. 8 to 10 for the most part. And the Beetlejuice cartoon was one of the most successful cartoon from movie adaptations there is, lasting for 4 seasons along with the real Ghostbusters. Other stuff like the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Little Shop of Horrors, other stuff only lasted like a season or two. Now, granted, like I said before, they had a small episode order in those first couple of seasons. Go figure, it's ABC. That's just how ABC is, you know? ABC always gave like a small episode order to like cartoons, and then they would cancel them very quickly. They have like a short attention span. But Fox Kids like that money. They like the viewership, you know? And it was one of the biggest kids cartoon networks of all time back in the day before Cartoon Network came around. Now, if they would have waited until like the late 90s, then this would have been on Kids WB, because of the simple fact, Beetlejuice is like a Warner Brothers, property. And this cartoon was actually created by the man who directed both the movies, Tim Burton himself. And I remember when I watched this cartoon back in the day, I actually watched the cartoon before I watched the live action movie. And so when I saw the live action movie on television, I was extremely shocked and surprised to see just how different it was from the cartoon. Like, the tone was different because, of course, the cartoon is geared to kids and the movie's to adults. The movie's much darker and deals with more death and everything. The satire is more adult. The appearances of the characters are different. The personalities of the characters are different. Like, it was just a really shocking thing. And their clothes and stuff, everything was just so different because this show had to literally appeal to that of a younger demographic. And honestly, in my opinion, I truly believe the cartoon is better than the actual movie. Like, the movie came out, it was a huge success. It created this cartoon, but then once this cartoon ended in 91, that was it. Beetlejuice Mania was over with until like the theatrical plays and stuff, or the musicals, whatever they call them. Oh Lord, now I'm thinking about the Beetlejuice musical. I'm thinking about one lady who works for the government. And the scandal that came with it. Anyways, and that was all you heard. That's like Beetlejuice was just like over with. You didn't hear it no more. You didn't see it no more. You didn't see the merch until the second live action movie. Now, of course, this came about because of the Wednesday series on Netflix. People have been saying for years and years, Tim Burton, yo, make a second Beetlejuice movie. Michael Keaton said he's not doing it unless the script is perfect. Tim Burton said, he's been working on the script, but just can't really think of nothing. And plus, I don't even think he really truly wanted to make it. But with the high demand of like the Wednesday series and stuff, and people loving that and revigorating the career of like Tim Burton, we all knew what was coming. And so they made that second movie and stuff. And with that second movie, which I personally do not like, I do appreciate they took elements from the cartoon and added it into the newer movie. It's brighter, just like the cartoon is. There are way more characters. running around and acting like, crazy and stuff. Beetlejuice and Lydia actually team up in the movie, which was something that was in the cartoon. In the cartoon, they're best friends instead of enemies and stuff. I think that's the biggest thing that floored me about the differences and like the cartoon in the first movie is that when I did finally watch the movie, I was so shocked and surprised to find out that Lydia and Beetlejuice, they rarely interact in the movie, and then when they do, they are enemies because he's trying to like marry her and everything and off her parents. But the fact that he's trying to marry her against her will and everything, just so he can come back into the land of the living, was pretty dark and gruesome and stuff. But then it was just completely mind blowing because when you watch the cartoon series, they are literally best buds who always get along. He goes like Beetlejuice, no matter if it's live action, no matter if it's the cartoon series, the dude is obsessed with Lydia for some reason, which is gross because he's an adult dead ghost person and she was a teenager and everything in the first movie and she's a preteen in the cartoon. But then in the second movie, she's an adult with her own daughter and everything. But he is still obsessed with her and her only for some reason. And in the cartoon series, he just loves her to death. It's almost like a uncle niece situation or like a big brother relationship, to where he will do anything for her to just to make her happy and everything. If she's in trouble, he's there for her to save her. If he's in trouble, she will save him. Um he goes out his way to try to scheme people to make money just so he can buy her a gift for their anniversary of being like friends and stuff. Because originally in the cartoon, they said he was there to like, spook the people who was living in the house until he became friends with Lydia and, they just became buds after a while. And it's like they have the coolest relationship. Like, he's magical, she's a daring, adventurous girl, and she's always going into like the neither world with him. And like, they just go on one wacky adventure after another. And it's just something about the chemistry between these two, the dynamic, that's just so like gratifying when you see these two hang out because it's a real true like friendship and everything. Like even though he's still a bad boy and everything, like he love like in this version. Okay, so his appearance is a little different. In the live action movie, he has green hair, pale white skin, and he has kind of like these mold scabs growing on his body. But in the cartoon, he has kind of like a pale purplish type like skin tone color. His hair is yellow, his teeth are green, and his fingertips and his toenails and fingernails are the little tips of like his fingers and toes, which is kind of weird. He's able to fly in the cartoon and do a whole lot more ghostly stuff and demonic type stuff. He pops his head off all the time. He can levitate. He can fly. His magical powers are like way more powerful and everything to where it's called juicing a person. So like if he wants to transform you into something, they say, oh, Beetlejuice just juiced you and everything. He has maggots inside his body. If you rip off like his skin, he has really bad body odor. He loves to eat bugs and everything. And he has the most uncanny laugh ever that's on par with that of the Joker. And even though I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan, like a massive one, this is my favorite version of Beetlejuice, hands down. Like it just is. Like the actor, Stephen Meddy, The dude did like a phenomenal job. I think his name is Ui Mente or something like that. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but like, dude did a phenomenal job. Like, he should get more voice acting roles. And in fact, he was doing another show, I think called Barber, while he was doing this show. And so that was like the second biggest show he ever did. And the dude should get more voice work and stuff. Like, this is my Beetlejuice right here. He's kooky, he's crazy, he's a slime ball, but he has a nice personality to him. He's a scam artist. He's always trying to scam people for money. So they had to give him those type of tropes for the cartoon. A schemer, a scammer, a con artist, a person who loves smelly stuff, a person who loves to eat bugs and everything, and a person who loves to party and have a good time. His neighbors and people in the neither world cannot stand him, but he does have a group of friends and everything. There are recurring characters on the show. He even has his own home in the neither world, and him and Lydia, they have like this fuzzy Frankenstein type car that they built together because she wanted a car. It's weird. She's a preteen in here, but a preteen doesn't have like a license, but they're talking about like her getting a license and this and that. That's more like a teen. And so the car name is Doomy. And it's just this cute, cuddly little green car that's sweet and friendly. But Beetlejuice, being a lazy person that he is and not paying attention to stuff, added something to the car that he wasn't supposed to. So when the car gets pissed, it turns into like a monster. This fuzzy, hairy, brown car that's like a maniac trying to like harm people and stuff. Now, Beetlejuice in this cartoon series, he has a couple of disguises. One is Mr. Beetleman. Mr. Beetleman can be anything. A plumber, a repair guy, a travel agent, it doesn't matter. Then there is Betty. Betty is the little girl that he pretends to be whenever Lydia is hanging out with her female friends and stuff. There's also a little boy he'll transform into, but I forget his name. Now, one of the other things that confused me about the live action movie was like Beetlejuice's outfit. It's because when I watched the cartoon, he always wore that striped white and black suit. But like the white and like black striped suit only appears for like a brief moment in the first live action movie. After that, he's wearing like a variety of different outfits and stuff. However, in Beetlejuice, the sequel to that, he's actually wearing the striped suit like constantly all throughout the movie, which I appreciate. To me, that's his defining outfit. And it's all because of the poster from the first movie and him briefly wearing it in the first movie and, of course, the cartoon series. Lydia is very more fleshed out and funner in this cartoon and everything. She's played by Alicia Court, and she's best known for like playing Jubilee in the X-Men cartoon and that clown on PBS. The one who feet does that like clock hands and stuff like that. Lydia is a delight in this cartoon. First of all, she has like 3 different appearances. She has like her schoolgirl uniform with her hair down. Then there's her goth look when she's in her civilian clothes at home. And so it's basically her hair is pent up similar to that of the movie. And like she's wearing like, you know, blackish gray clothes. But then there's her neither world outfit. Her neither world outfit is her hair is in the same exact way, but for whatever reason, she's wearing like a black cat suit underneath, and she's wearing this giant like red poncho type dress with web lines on it. It's the cutest little dress ever. And I think the red dress is a nod to the wedding dress that she wore in the live action movie. Now, for the most part, their personalities are kind of similar and kind of not. In the movies, I don't really remember Lydia all that much. I just remember her being a goth girl and a little bit of an angsty, moody teen. Her parents are very colorful and bright. She's not. Because the movie does not focus on her. The movie focuses on the Maitlands and stuff. Fun fact, the Maitlands are never in this cartoon series. And they're not in the second movie. If they do appear in this cartoon series, it must have been a cameo or something. Now, the bridge in which they died in, that appears in the cartoon. But in the live action movie, Lydia is just more like a moody, gothy teen with a vibe to her. In the cartoon, she's this like lovable, nice girl who is still goth and still has the macabre to her. When her mom redid her room and gave her, I think, like pink curtains and everything to her window, she didn't like them, ripped them down to reveal the black curtains underneath. Now, one thing that's really cool about Lydia in the series is how she gets to the Netherworld. In the cartoon series, they needed kind of like a recurring theme, other than just saying Beetlejuice 3 times. And so, yes, just like in the live action movie and in the cartoon series, if you say Beetlejuice 3 times, he will technically appear. But for the most part in the movie, if you're in the Netherworld and you say Beetlejuice 3 times, then you go back to the land of the living. But if you say his name 3 times, he can appear in the land of the living. However, with Lydia, they gave her a bonus, if you will. In the cartoon, she says an incantation, and it's a really, really catchy like phrase and everything. I can't remember it by heart. But it's just eerie and spooky, and the way it's all set up, the music complements it very well. She's like hovering over like a lamp with a light and everything. And then as soon as she's done saying an incantation, she says Beetlejuice 3 times, and then all of a sudden her room starts to like shift and tear apart and contort and everything, and it transforms into like a layer in the Netherworld. Then all of a sudden, like, you know, her hair, depending on which way she is when she says it, like her hair's back pent up, like her webbed red dress is first black. When it drapes over her body, then it pops like red and everything, and there's Beetlejuice and stuff. And it's just like really cool, but it rarely happens in the cartoon series. The first time she did it in the first episode is by far the best. And you can actually find that clip online. And so Lydia, like I said before, she's the light in this show. She's really nice. She's sweet. She doesn't like all that colorful, like, you know, cutesy wootsy stuff, but she has a heart to her. Like when they was gonna tear down her favorite tree, she wanted to keep it and everything. And Beetlejuice made it come to life with some Netherworld, like, you know, thing or nothing he poured on like the tree. And so, like, it's just like one episode after another, they're getting into some type of kooky adventure. Like whenever she has like a sleepover, he wants to come too, so he'll dress up like a girl. Cause he has like multiple disguises in the show, and she has a group of friends, like these 2 girls that are like nerdy and everything, and she even has like a bully. And so when what is it? She doesn't like it when Beetlejuice tries to scam people, but like, you know, she's always trying to get him kind of like on the straight and narrow, but not too straight and narrow because she likes to have fun with him. Her parents are in the show, but they're barely in the show. Now, when it comes to Lydia, one shocking thing happened. When the show permanently moved to Fox Kids in the 4th season, Lydia barely shows up. She's missing in the first episode. In the second episode, she only pops up towards the end, and she's absent in many of the episodes and stuff. I'm not sure why exactly. Maybe because she went to go work on X-Men, I don't know. Or maybe they just wanted to focus on Beetlejuice solely because he was the main attraction and everything. But it does suck that, like, because they're a duo. Like, you want to see them together. Because in no episode she's not in, it just feels like a completely different show with him interacting with somebody else in the Neither world. Now, like I said before, she has a bully named Claire, played by Tara Strong. Back before Tara Strong changed her last name to Strong because she got married and stuff. I forget her first original last name. But I also forgot she used to be a brunette back in the day. But she plays Claire. Claire's just like the mean girl, Queen Bee. And Tara also voices somebody else. The parents are here, but they're barely here. I'm kind of glad because the show doesn't really need parents like weighing it down. But the parents are fun whenever they do show up because in one episode, they went on like a family vacation in the Needle world and the parents had no idea because they don't know nothing about Beetlejuice or all this stuff. And Beetlejuice, one of his personas that he had is Mr. Beetleman. And the mom normally interacts with him. Sometimes Mr. Beetleman is a repair guy, a travel agent, like whatever, And the mom is completely aloof. When she's in the Needle world, she's also very aloof to everything that's going on. But the dad realizes what's going on and freaks out. Paulina Gillis, I think she changed her name to Tabitha Germain, I think. She voices Ginger, the dancing spider. I love Ginger, man. She's just like the cutest little thing ever. And she's always tapping her feet. And so she's just the spider that dances. Now, Len Carson, may he rest in peace, played the monster across the street. He's this giant, hairy, like, monster. And he cannot stand Beetlejuice whatsoever. He also voices the mayor, and the mayor doesn't like Beetlejuice either. Now, Charles Kerr, I think he might have passed away. If so, rest in peace. He plays Jacques Laline, and he's a skeleton, a French one at that, who wants to be a bodybuilder. And so these were like the recurring characters all throughout like the first 3 seasons. Now, Prince Vince, he is voiced by Hadley K. Now, these episodes must be out of order on the DVD because he technically appears in the first season, but yet I have not seen him yet in the first season. I'm close to like the 3rd season and stuff. He's the prince of the Neither world, and he just suffers from like depression. And he's always whining and complaining and just depressed and like, woe is me type, right? He has a crush on Lydia and wants her to be his princess, but she doesn't want him like that and everything. Now, the interesting thing about this show, like I said before, is when it will come on. It first appeared on ABC, and those for the first 3 seasons. However, that was Saturday mornings it would air on ABC. They had some type of partnership deal with Fox Kids to where they would show it on ABC during Saturday mornings, and then they would show it on Fox Kids in the afternoon. After ABC felt like they were just tired of the show and whatever, they later just, gave it to Fox Kids. And that's when the rest of the episodes aired for the 4th season. And with the 4th season came like a new intro. My personal favorite is season 1 through 3 intro. It's just like way cooler. Season 4 intro, it shows more of the Neither world and less of Beetlejuice and Lydia. Also, with the start of the 4th season, the animation slightly changed, just slightly. Everybody still looks the same. It's just they're kind of, I don't know, I feel like a different studio kind of took over a little bit. And also it's brighter. Like the colors are more light. Like the monster across the street was darker in the first three seasons, and now he's like a light brown. Beetlejuice tones are lighter and everything. And like I said before, the tone just kind of changed because now it mostly revolves around Beetlejuice solely and stuff. And Lydia is absent in a couple of episodes. In the episodes she does appear in, sometimes she like barely appears in them. Even though, like I said before, I haven't gotten to the fourth season. I just fast forward through the episodes. I'm all like, where is Lydia at in these first couple of episodes and stuff? And when I say she pops up randomly towards the end, she legit just pops up randomly and everything. And so, not sure why ABC wanted to like get rid of it, but hey, they did and stuff. But I still feel like the better seasons were on ABC. Fox Kids has a tend to be a bit more wacky and a bit more edgy. Like there are a couple of times where they'll call Beetlejuice, well, Lydia will call him BJ, because it's short for Beetlejuice. But I think that's also an innuendo and stuff. But like it was uncanny for an ABC show, which technically isn't really an ABC show, it was in syndication. But for like a show to air on ABC would air at the same time during the span of a year, like on their rival network, Fox Kids, in the afternoons and stuff. That was really unheard of at that time. The only other time I've ever seen that happen was Kids WB and Cartoon Network when it came to like the Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, and a couple of stuff like that. They was crossing over. But it was really rare for like an ABC cartoon to start airing on like Fox Kids, you know what I'm saying? And I remember too just being kind of confused by that. I don't remember watching it in the afternoon because I was at school probably. But I do remember originally watching this on ABC. And then one morning, it wasn't on ABC. I'm like, oh my God, where's Beetlejuice at? So I'm flipping through the channels, and thank God I found it on Fox Kids. I'm all like, why is it on Fox Kids now? That don't make no kind of sense. Now, they did have merch back in the day, but I had no idea. And so it wasn't until the Beetlejuice movie that came out just a few years ago it reunited like the toy line and stuff. And I was so happy because I was watching this one YouTuber called Toy Shiz, and he all of a sudden had a Lydia toy. And I'm like, wait, what the heck? This can't be no retro thing, is it? Because he doesn't do retro things. And lo and behold, they had new Beetlejuice toys from both the movies and the cartoon series. Five Below ended up having a couple of like the toys. They got like a Lydia Funko Pop, some shirts, I think something else. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's either a lunchbox or it's like a Lego looking thing or it's something. But then they had these little toy figures. And I remember I'm like, oh my God, I have to get one. Because you know how it is in the toy space now. If you don't get it now, you most likely will never will. So it was either last year or earlier this year or whenever that movie came out, I was able to grab one and stuff. And I got Lydia because the Beetlejuice one looks way too ugly, and I'll show you why in a couple of like moments. So like, and the cool thing about Five Below is like that's the name of the prices in the store. Like everything's out of $5 or below that. Now she's not really articulated. Her arms don't go up. I don't even think her head moves, and you have to put her on that stand because she has tiny little feet. Just like, in like the show. And so it's a pretty good looking figure. My only gripes is that her head's a heck of a lot smaller on the cartoon show. In the toy, they have it more elongated. When you add the elongation to the jaws and the face and the big pudgy eyes and everything, it makes her look like an old woman. And so I don't like that. but they nailed it for the most part, except for like the elongated jaw. Beetlejuice, on the other hand, I did not pick up. I do not like this whatsoever, and the reason for that is this does not look like the Beetlejuice from the cartoon series, in my opinion. First of all, his hips are way too big, but not only that, it's his face and his hair that's completely all wrong. He looks like a little boy in this toy. And his face, the shape of his face and everything just looks completely off. His hair is completely off as well. And I don't like how his hands are to like the side. I really wanted to get the Beetlejuice one so badly, but they did not do the guy justice. Thank God they gave him the stripe on white and black suit. I appreciate that at least. So this cartoon series is a blast. And trust me when I tell you, it does not even matter your age. Anybody can like this. You know, it has that Looney Tune, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs type vibe feel to it, to where anybody of any generation can watch it. And I'm still saying this, like, I don't care. You know, this, in my opinion, is the definitive Beetlejuice, like, you know, type like thing. It's like, in my opinion, is better than a live action movie. This version of Beetlejuice is better than the Michael Keaton one. This Lydia is better than the Winona Ryder thing. You know, like, there's just so much going on in this movie. Not movie, but cartoon series that's just so good. And I do appreciate them trying to add aspects of this cartoon into the live action movie when it came to Beetlejuice. But Beetlejuice was still just a bad movie and everything. It was just, they had horrible characters in it. I didn't like Lydia's like daughter all that much. Lydia was a huge letdown and everything. It's almost like Tim Burton wanted to sabotage that movie, you know, just so people can stop asking him, hey, make another one. But of course, now they want Beetlejuice. And they even kind of set up a little bit for like a sequel. It's just that, and then it was like the wife and everything. And it's just kind of like, and they finally explained Beetlejuice's backstory, which was very uninteresting. He's not a used car salesman and everything. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. There was a lot wrong with that Beetlejuice movie. Especially the whole Black Soul Train thing. That was just low down and racist. Because Tim Burton's a little punk like that. But I wish they could have made it more like the cartoon. Like, they could have easily said, in between time of the first and second movie, him and Lydia just became friends and everything, you know? And so the cartoon series could kind of be like a tie-in to all the adventures they had. And then as they got older and now she has a kid by somebody else, now, like, you know, her kid is going on those adventures. And as an adult, she's kind of like, yo, maybe this was too dangerous for me as a kid and I should never done all this stuff. And I don't want my daughter being in that same danger. Then only for him to get pissed and turn back into the mean person he was, like he was in the first movie, you know? It writes itself, Tim Burton. It writes itself. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't that spooky. All right, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.